The napkin wasn't folded. It was crumpled and damp, like someone had wrung it out and left it for dead. It sat in front of my brother's plate, untouched, while the rest of us pushed through awkward bites of overcooked chicken and polite conversation. Every time I glanced down at it, the words he'd whispered 2 nights earlier crawled back up my spine. Just back me up, all right? Like it was nothing. Like loyalty was a switch I could flip without consequence. It started with a text. Nothing dramatic, just, "You around?" But with Jordan, even a period at the end of a message felt loaded. I was finishing up invoices at my kitchen counter when it came in, the same Thursday routine I'd followed for 3 years straight since I left my job at the architecture firm and started doing freelance work from home. I didn't answer right away, mostly because I knew where this was heading. 10 minutes later, he called. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "You free tonight?" I glanced at the clock. "Depends. Everything all right?" Jordan hesitated. Yeah, I just need to talk, not over the phone." He showed up with that same anxious energy he always carried when something was about to hit the fan. Ball cap pulled low, hoodie zipped halfway, despite the warm night air, and pacing like he was trying to wear a hole through my welcome mat. "I messed up, man," he said, before I even closed the door behind him. "You want a beer?" I asked, because I didn't want to hear it just yet. He nodded, eyes down. "Sure." We sat on the patio out back. The old wicker chairs creaked under us, and the citronella candle between us flickered like it knew this wasn't just a regular brotherly hangout. "I've been seeing someone," he finally said. I blinked. "Okay." "While I'm still with Marissa." There it was. Jordan didn't look at me. He just stared into the candle like it was going to absolve him. I exhaled through my nose. "Jesus, Jordan." "It's not like that," he said too quickly. "It just happened. I didn't plan for it." "They've been married 7 years, I reminded myself out loud. "They have a 4-year-old. I know, and I'm ending it. I swear, but I need you to do something for me first." I looked at him. Really looked. The bags under his eyes, the nicotine stains on his fingers, the way his left leg bounced like a jackhammer. "What is it?" "We're having dinner Sunday. Mom's hosting. Everyone's going to be there. Marissa might bring up that I was out late last weekend. Just, if she does, say I was at your place. Say we were watching the game or something." I leaned back, feeling the chair groan beneath me. "You want me to lie to Mom and Dad? To cover your affair?" Jordan flinched at the word. Affair. "Just this once. Please." I didn't answer right away, and I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. And that, I realize now, was enough rope for him to hang both of us. Sunday rolled in slow and sticky. Mom had gone all out as usual. Roasted chicken, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, peach cobbler waiting on the counter. Dad was nursing a gin and tonic. Jordan showed up late. Marissa and their daughter trailing behind like shadows. We all made small talk. And then, somewhere between the mashed potatoes and the second helping of green beans, Marissa said it. Casual, too. Like she was asking about the weather. "So where were you last Saturday night?" she asked, not looking at Jordan, but at me. Jordan froze, fork midair. The table went quiet, except for my niece humming to herself, oblivious in her booster seat. I looked at Jordan. He didn't move, didn't blink. I looked at Marissa. She was still watching me, calm but sharp. And then I opened my mouth. "I don't know," I said. "He wasn't with me." The words landed like a thunderclap. Dad cleared his throat. Mom shifted in her seat. Jordan dropped his fork. "What?" Jordan said, voice tight. I met his eyes. "You asked me to lie for you. I'm not doing that." Marissa's face didn't change. but I saw the tiniest flicker of something in her eyes. Maybe relief, maybe pain, maybe both. Jordan's chair scraped as he stood. "Can we talk outside?" "No," I said. "We're already here." The silence that followed wasn't comfortable. It wasn't cinematic. It was just ugly. Mom looked like she might cry. Dad looked like he wanted to disappear. Jordan stood there, fists clenched at his sides. "I can't believe you," he said. "You shouldn't have asked, Pause," I replied. We didn't finish dinner. The cobblers stayed on the counter, untouched. Marissa left with their daughter. Jordan stayed behind, pacing the driveway like a storm cloud that didn't know where to strike. Mom asked me, gently, why I said what I said. I told her the truth. That I was tired of pretending, that lying for him would have been easier, but not right. That maybe the only thing worse than cheating was asking someone else to help you bury the evidence. I haven't heard from Jordan since that night, but that napkin, still crumpled in my mind, reminds me of the line I crossed. Or maybe the one I finally refused to cross for him. The keys were still warm from my pocket when I threw them on the kitchen counter, like they hadn't decided whether they belonged to home or escape. I stood there for a minute, hands still hovering above them, as if waiting for someone to grab my wrist and pull me back into that dinner. But it was over. And now came the part no one ever really prepares you for, after the reveal. I didn't sleep that night. The house was quiet, sure, but my head wasn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jordan's face, mouth slightly open, disbelief mixing with betrayal. I saw Mom's eyes watering as she cleared the dishes without a word. I saw Dad wiping his glasses again and again, like fogged lenses were the biggest problem in the room. By 2 a.m., I was back at the kitchen counter, this time nursing a cup of instant coffee and scrolling mindlessly through my phone. Nothing was sticking. Not the news, not the basketball scores, not even those dumb animal videos that usually gave me a brief laugh. At 2:37, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just one message. "You couldn't keep it in your pants and now you're blaming me?" No name. But I didn't need one. Jordan. The next morning, I didn't go for my usual jog. Didn't check my inbox. Just stood in the shower until the water turned cold and my fingertips looked like raisins. By 10 o'clock, Mom called. I let it ring twice before answering. "You okay?" she asked, voice low. "I'm fine," I lied. There was a long pause. Then, "He left Marissa's place early this morning. Said he needed space." I nodded, forgetting she couldn't see me. "Did he say where he was going?" "No, but I don't think he wants to talk to anyone right now, especially not you." That stung more than I expected. The thing about family is, there's this quiet assumption that blood automatically binds people in ways that override everything else. Morality, self-respect, even common sense. Jordan and I used to be close. Not tell each other everything close, but the kind of close where one of us could show up at the other's door at 2 a.m. and we'd open it without question. I remember when he first started dating Marissa. He brought her to a cookout at my place, charcoal smoke in the air, dogs running through the yard, beer in plastic cups. She was soft-spoken, kind, but sharp too. She remembered names, listened carefully. After she and Jordan left that night, I told him, "She's good for you." He smiled, that wide, crooked grin of his. "Yeah, I know." So when did that change? When did good for you become disposable? Around noon, I went out to get groceries, partly because I needed food, mostly because I needed something to do with my hands. As I walked past the frozen food section, I spotted someone I didn't want to see. Marissa. She was standing by the glass doors, staring at a pint of ice cream like it held the answer to the universe. She hadn't seen me yet. I had two options: walk the other way or face it. I chose the latter. Hey, I said, soft. She turned slowly. Her eyes were red-rimmed but dry. Hi. A long silence passed. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, she said. You didn't. I paused. He did. She gave a tight, humorless smile. Yeah, he did. We stood there a beat longer. Shoppers moved around us like water around stones. Do you want to grab coffee? I asked. Just talk? To my surprise, she nodded. We ended up at a cafe a block away. Sat outside under the awning. She got tea. I stuck with coffee. I knew, she said, wrapping both hands around the mug. For weeks. The phone calls, the weird schedule, the cologne that wasn't his. I didn't interrupt. I just didn't want to be the one to say it out loud. I thought maybe, if he thought I still believed him, he'd stop. I shook my head. That's not on you. She looked up. But it is on him. And now it's out. And I don't know what comes next. Do you want to work it out? I asked. Not out of curiosity, but out of responsibility. Marissa stared into her tea. I don't know. I don't know if I want to stay married to someone who makes me feel like I'm losing my mind just to keep peace. That sentence stuck with me. Later that night, Jordan texted again. Hope your conscience is clear. You blew up everything. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't trust what I might say. 2 days passed, then 3. No contact. By Thursday, I found out through Mom that Jordan had moved in with a friend from college, not one I knew well. She asked me if I would call him. I said no, not yet. She sighed. He's still your brother. I know. That's the problem. That weekend, I found myself driving past our old high school. Don't know why. Maybe nostalgia. Maybe guilt. Maybe just trying to remember when things were simple. We used to bike to school together. He was the faster one, always popping wheelies while I just tried to keep my backpack from sliding off. He'd laugh and say, "Try to keep up, old man," even though I was barely a year older. I remembered that laugh, and I realized I hadn't heard it in months. Marissa called me Sunday afternoon. Hey, she said, her voice steadier. I thought you should know. I asked Jordan for space, not just for a few days, real space. I didn't say anything. I need to figure out who I am without being gaslit every time I ask a question. I respect that, I said. I don't know what happens next, she added, but thank you for not lying. Her voice wavered slightly. Thank you for helping me feel sane again. After we hung up, I stared at the wall for a long time. I hadn't done much, really, just refused to lie. But sometimes, not protecting the lie is the most radical thing you can do. That night, a final text came from Jordan. You chose her over me. I won't forget that. I stared at it, typed something, deleted it, typed again, finally sent, I chose the truth. No reply. Halfway through rinsing a plate, I heard the knock. Not the urgent kind, not the kind you hear in movies just before someone delivers news that changes your life. Just a steady, polite knock, like someone unsure if they were welcome, but committed to showing up anyway. The plate slipped a little in my hands. I set it down gently in the sink. I already knew who it was before I even turned toward the door. Jordan was standing on the porch, hood up despite the mild breeze, hands shoved in his jacket pockets. We hadn't spoken in almost a week. Not since the text. Not since I replied, I chose the truth. Now he was here. In person. I opened the door slowly. Hey, his jaw flexed. Can I come in? I stepped aside and he walked in without meeting my eyes. We sat in silence for a minute. Him on the edge of the couch, me in the armchair across from him. He looked like hell. Like sleep hadn't visited in days. His skin was pale, lips chapped, eyes bloodshot. Coffee? I asked. He shook his head. Not staying long. I waited. He rubbed a hand over his face. Look, I know I messed up. I said nothing. I shouldn't have asked you to lie. That was wrong. Still nothing. But you didn't have to say it like that. Not in front of everyone. You humiliated me. Now I looked up. You humiliated yourself, Jordan. I just stopped enabling it. He flinched. You really think I'm some monster, don't you? No. I think you're my brother who made a really selfish choice and then tried to drag me into the fallout. His mouth opened, then closed. You think I wanted this? He asked quietly. You think I planned to ruin my marriage? Lose time with my daughter? No, I said. But I think you didn't care enough about the damage until someone else had to clean it up. Jordan looked down at the floor. She's not letting me see Sophie right now. I softened a little. That's temporary. You don't know that. You don't either. He sighed. I miss my kid, man. I miss my house. I miss waking up and smelling pancakes, hearing the TV too loud from the living room, even Marissa nagging me about socks on the floor. For the first time, his voice cracked. I let the silence sit, let it breathe, let him carry that moment without me trying to fix it. I stayed with Brendan the first couple nights, he said after a while. Now I'm at a motel. It sucks. Do you have a plan? I asked. He shrugged. I was hoping you'd let me crash here for a few days. That caught me. I hadn't expected it. I didn't say no, but I also didn't say yes. I need to think about it, I replied. He looked up, hurt flickering across his face. Seriously? I'm not trying to punish you, I said. But this isn't just about you needing a bed. You want a safe house, Jordan. But I need to know you're not going to keep burning things down while you're in it. He didn't answer. After he left, I sat back down and stared at the empty coffee table. What would Dad have done in this situation? Or Grandpa, who used to say, helping someone isn't the same as rescuing them from their own reflection. I wanted to help Jordan. I really did. But I wasn't sure I could do it without sacrificing pieces of myself in the process. Later that night, Marissa called. Sophie keeps asking where Daddy is, she said, voice thin and tired. Have you told her anything? I asked. That he's away for work, she said. But she's 4. She knows something's off. Kids always know. I didn't respond. I'm not keeping her from him to be vindictive, she added. I need to be sure he's stable, that he understands what he almost threw away. I get it, I said quietly. She sighed. I'm sorry you're in the middle of this. I'm not, I said. Not anymore. I told Jordan the next day, you can stay here. 3 days max. No parties, no booze, no drama. You come in, you clean up after yourself, you treat this place like a guest. He looked relieved. Thank you. This isn't a reset button, Bad, I added. It's a couch. That's it. He nodded. Understood. The first night, he slept like the dead. Passed out before 10, didn't stir until nearly noon. I made pancakes, like old times, but left his on a plate in the fridge. When he woke, he ate silently, barely speaking. I might look for a therapist, he said finally, over his second cup of coffee. I glanced over. That'd be a good start. He nodded, eyes on his mug. Do you think she'd ever forgive me? Do you think you'd forgive yourself if she did, Bis? I asked. He didn't answer. That afternoon, I got a call from our dad. I heard he's staying with you, he said, no judgment in his tone, just curiosity. Just for a couple of days, I said. I hope he uses them wisely, Dad replied. Pride's a stubborn beast, but sometimes the smallest humbling is what breaks the fever. Is that what you think this is? A fever? I think he's sick with something he doesn't know how to name, and like most men our age, he waited too long to treat it. That night, Jordan and I sat outside. Same old wicker chairs, same old citronella candle, but something felt different. He wasn't looking at his phone, wasn't fidgeting. I signed up for a therapy intake call next Tuesday, he said. Good. I also texted Marissa, told her I'm not going to fight her on custody, said I just want to earn back what I can, slowly. That's mature, I said. He gave a weak smile. Doesn't feel like much. It is, I said, because it's not about you anymore. It's about the kid, about making space for healing, not control. He nodded. It took you saying it out loud, at that dinner, for me to realize how far off course I'd gone. I didn't say anything. I was furious at you, he admitted, but now I get it. You weren't trying to shame me. You were saving me from myself. No, I said. I was saving myself. You just happened to come along for the ride. We didn't talk much after that. Just sat. The night was quiet, but it didn't feel heavy anymore. Just honest for the first time in a while. I don't think I ever wanted to be the good son. It just sort of happened. One deflection at a time, one apology absorbed, one favor granted quietly while someone else ducked the consequences. Jordan had always been the firework. Loud, reckless, brilliant for a moment, then gone. I was the net that caught the sparks. Until I wasn't. He stayed the full 3 days, true to his word, didn't bring anyone over, didn't drink, didn't leave dishes in the sink. On the third morning, he made scrambled eggs and left a sticky note on the fridge. Didn't burn the house down. Progress? I smirked when I saw it. That afternoon, he packed up his duffel bag slowly. Almost like he was hoping I'd say, stay a little longer. But I didn't. He zipped it up, slung it over his shoulder, and stood in the doorway for a while before speaking. You meant it, he said, that you weren't going to lie for me anymore. I did. He nodded. I hated you for it at first. I know. But now, he paused. I think maybe you were the only one who saw me clearly. I didn't say anything, just held his gaze. I'm going back to Brendan's for now, he said. But I scheduled 2 more therapy sessions. I'm sticking with it this time. That's good, I replied. He nodded, then opened the door. Before stepping out, he turned back. You ever think we just end up becoming the versions of ourselves that other people need? I blinked. What do you mean? You were always the stable one. The one Mom and Dad didn't worry about. The one Marissa liked. The one Sophie calls Uncle Cool, even though you don't let her eat junk food. I chuckled, despite myself. He continued, but maybe you didn't choose to be that guy. Maybe you were cornered into it. The idea lingered in the air. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe we both became the things the other wasn't allowed to be. Jordan smiled faintly. Well, thanks for being honest, even when it hurt. And then he was gone. A week passed. Things felt quieter. Still tense, but manageable. Mom called every other day, checking in without ever explicitly saying she was choosing sides. She didn't need to. Her silences were paragraphs. Dad, meanwhile, just texted Bible verses or quotes from his favorite old Clint Eastwood movies, his version of support. And then, one Thursday afternoon, I got a call from Marissa. She wanted to meet. We sat at a playground, the one where Sophie always insisted on the blue swing because it flies higher. The place was half empty, just a few tired parents and hyper kids running off sugar. Marissa looked composed, not hardened, not wrecked, just reorganized, like someone who had finished rearranging her priorities in the dark. I've been talking to Jordan again, she said. I raised my eyebrows. Calm down, she added, noticing. It's not romantic. We're just figuring out what co-parenting looks like. That's progress, I offered. She nodded. He's different, softer. He's not playing victim as much. I waited. He said you set a boundary, that you wouldn't cover for him. I nodded. That changed things, she said. Not just for him, for me too. How so? Marissa looked over at the swing set. A little girl with pigtails was squealing with delight. I used to think loyalty meant silence, that protecting someone meant never embarrassing them, even when they deserved it. And now? Now I think the people who love us most are the ones willing to call it what it is. We both sat with that thought for a while. That night, I opened a folder on my desktop titled Jordan Projects. It was filled with blueprints and mock-ups he'd started back when he first dreamed of opening a small design studio, years ago, before marriage, before mistakes. He'd sent them to me for feedback, but never followed through. I hadn't opened it in over 2 years. Now I clicked through it, one file at a time. They were rough, incomplete. But there was something there. Talent, hunger, sincerity. Maybe he'd find his way back to that. Maybe not. But at least now, the lies weren't standing in the way. On Sunday, I visited Mom and Dad for dinner. It was just the three of us. The table felt emptier than usual. She made roast beef. Dad said grace. Halfway through the meal, Mom set down her fork. "I know it wasn't easy," she said, eyes locked on mine. I said nothing. "But I think you did the right thing." That surprised me. "I don't like what it did to our family," she continued, "but I like even less what pretending might have done to all of us." Dad nodded silently, chewing slowly, like every bite needed thought. "Jordan's a grown man," Mom said. "He needs to clean up his own mess. But I'm proud you didn't let him make it yours too." That hit harder than I expected. I hadn't been trying to earn their approval, but hearing it still mattered. Later that night, Jordan texted me again. "Sophie wants to come over next week. Think we could do a movie night?" I smiled. "Tell her Uncle Cool says only if there's popcorn and 0 bedtime rules. Sometimes healing doesn't come all at once. Sometimes it comes in flickers, through scrambled eggs, quiet park benches, and the absence of another lie. I wasn't the good son. I wasn't the fixer. I was just a man who drew a line in the sand and finally meant it. The house looked cleaner than it had in weeks. Floors vacuumed, dishes done, throw pillows arranged like I was expecting company. But I wasn't. Not officially. Still, I found myself lighting a cinnamon-scented candle in the living room. The one Marissa had once given me in a Christmas bag labeled, "For Emergencies," or "If Someone Cute Ever Visits." The house looked ready. I wasn't sure I was. Sophie arrived first. Jordan waited in the car. She ran up the steps in a puffy yellow jacket, clutching a beat-up stuffed bunny under one arm. "Uncle!" she squealed, and my chest cracked open like it always did. I scooped her up. "Whoa, is that Bunnyzilla I see?" She grinned. "He missed you." I tapped the bunny's nose. "Back at ya, bud." Jordan followed a minute later, slower, eyes scanning the house like it might bite. He'd shaved, wore a clean jacket, carried a bag of microwave popcorn and 3 juice boxes like a peace offering. "You look like you're here to bribe your way into a peace treaty," I said. He smirked. "Is it working?" I took the popcorn. "You'll need stronger terms." We set up a makeshift movie night. Cushions on the floor, soft lighting, animated movie queued up. Some sequel to a sequel where the animals talked about family a lot. Sophie insisted I sit beside her. Jordan took the other side, keeping just enough distance to read the room. Halfway through the movie, Sophie fell asleep against my shoulder. I didn't move. Neither did Jordan. The quiet filled the space between us. "She asked if we're still a family," Jordan said, barely above a whisper. I looked at him. "And I didn't know how to answer without lying," he added. I glanced down at Sophie. "You say yes," I replied, "and then you show her what that looks like, even if it's different from what it used to be." He nodded slowly. Later, after I carried Sophie to the guest room and tucked her in with Bunnyzilla, Jordan and I stood in the kitchen, staring at the last of the popcorn like it held some ancient wisdom. "She trusts you," he said. "A lot." I shrugged. "I didn't cheat on her mom." He flinched. but didn't argue. "I'm trying to be better," he said. "Not just for her, for me too." "I believe you," I said. His eyes flicked up. "Even after everything?" "I believe the effort," I clarified. "The results are still TBD." He smiled faintly. "Fair." The next morning, he made breakfast before I even woke up. Sophie was already at the table, giggling as he made a bunny face out of pancakes and fruit. Marissa picked her up around noon. She lingered at the door a minute. "She had fun," she said. "She always does here," I replied. "I'm glad," Marissa said, then added, "He seems grounded." I nodded. "He's trying." She hesitated. "We're still doing separate counseling, but it's the first time I felt like maybe we're both in the same room instead of shouting from different buildings." "I hope it works out," I said. "Even if it doesn't," she said, "I hope we can be the kind of people Sophie looks up to." We both looked toward the living room, where Jordan was helping Sophie pack her things. "No lies?" she asked. "No more lies," I promised. After they left, Jordan stayed behind, said he needed to talk. We took a walk, the long loop around the neighborhood where the sidewalks had that one crack that always made him jump as a kid. "I want to come clean to Mom and Dad," he said. "They know," I replied. "No, not just know. I want to say it out loud. I want to own it. The cheating, the lying, asking you to cover for me, all of it." I stopped walking. "You sure?" He nodded. "If I can't be honest with my family, then what's the point of any of this?" I clapped a hand on his shoulder. "Then I'll go with you." That Sunday, we sat at the same table where everything had blown up. Same creaky chairs, same floral tablecloth. Jordan cleared his throat. "I need to say something," he began. Mom tensed. Dad set down his glass, and Jordan spoke. Not perfectly, not heroically, but truthfully. He admitted to the affair, the lies, the guilt, the fear. He admitted he'd put pressure on me, unfair pressure, to protect his image. He apologized, and then he said, "I understand if this changes how you all see me, but I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for the chance to earn back what I broke." Silence. Then Mom got up, walked over. She didn't say a word, just hugged him. Dad exhaled, rubbed his eyes. "Took guts, son." Jordan looked at me, and I nodded. It's been months now. He and Marissa didn't get back together, but they're friends again. Co-parents who text about school pickups and dance recitals. Jordan's still in therapy, still working freelance gigs, still trying. Sophie sleeps over at my place twice a month. We still do movie nights. Sometimes she asks why Daddy doesn't live with Mommy anymore. And Jordan, to his credit, tells her the truth. The 4-year-old version, anyway. That grown-ups make mistakes. And that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit them. As for me, I don't think I'm the good son anymore. I'm just someone who finally learned where the line was and decided not to cross it, even for family, especially for family. If this story moved you, subscribe for more real-life confessions and emotional journeys like this one.